Hey there, everybody. I'm Ken. This is Canadian Retro Things. Happy September. So, what Tandy goodie am I looking at today? It's my Tandy 1100FD. You may remember a video that I did in the spring this year where I went to Boat Fest down in West Virginia and I picked up some goodies. One of those goodies was my Tandy 1100FD. Now, it wasn't exactly in full working order. It powered on, but that was about it. So, what I'm going to do today is, well, I'm going to try to get it into better working order. We'll see what we can do. I'm pretty sure the first thing that's going to have to be done is changing the belt on the disk drive, so that's where we're going to start. And I would like to also give a big shout out to the sponsor of today's video, the people whom without their support, a lot of the videos I do wouldn't be possible. PCBWay. PCBWay is the place to get PCBs printed starting as low as $5 for 10 PCBs. Do you need more for your project than just PCBs? Well, PCBWay has you covered there as well. They offer CNC machining, sheet metal laser cutting and bending, 3D printing, and injection molding or vacuum casting. That's right, if you need cases or non-PCB parts for your project, PCBWay can do it for you. From the PCB to the case it goes in, you can get it all in one place. So visit PCBWay today at www.pcbway.com. This is the Tandy 1100FD. It hit Radio Shack stores around November or December of 1989 for a price of $999. It weighed in at a light 6.5 pounds. It came with 640K of RAM, a 3.5-inch 720K disk drive, one serial port, one parallel port. It had a 12.1 by 2.4 by 9.8-inch footprint, and one of the things that really set this computer apart from the competition at the time was that it had a full-size LCD screen. Most of the portable computers at the time had a squished down screen which distorted the graphics. This one was in a full 80 column by 25 screen with a resolution of 640 by 200. Also built into the computer was DeskMate Desktop. Before we get to taking this computer apart, there is one thing I wanted to show you. I briefly showed you this screen when I first picked this up from Boat Fest when I did a video about that. And I tested out a disk, which did not work. Now I said that this was the only screen there was, but if you hit escape twice, the message changes. Then if you hit it one more time, it boots into DeskMate. Now, I thought when I first got this computer that there was something really wrong with it because I knew that DeskMate was supposed to be built into it. I just didn't know how to get to it. However, without being able to use the DeskMate disk at this point, not a lot works on here. So, let's get to tearing this computer down. The first thing to do here is take the battery cover off. And there is actually still a battery pack in here which is completely dead. Fortunately, it did not leak. However, I am going to keep this around so that I know the specs that I need if I can find a battery to replace this one. At the back of the computer, There is the printer port, serial port, and this is a plate here where if you have the optional modem, I think it's the modem that goes in there. Anyways, there are a few screws on here to take out, so we'll start with those. So, what did I learn about taking this cover off of this computer? There are 3 screws on the bottom, 2 screws on the back, 2 screws right here, and 4 screws under each, or 2 screws under each hinge for 4 screws. The hinge plates, which I only have 1 of, just pop off. They're just clipped in. And there's 2 clips on the front of the computer that you have to unclip. And if you're doing that, this is the latch button, that's the slider for opening the screen. Well, it works a lot better to unclip those if you have that off already. And the cover plate for the expansion port has to be taken off because there's some wires in there you have to get at, which I'm going to do right now. I guess the first thing I'm going to do is unscrew the keyboard. Okay, well, in the last couple of seconds I've had my tripod fall down and one of my lights burn out. So, back at it. Appears to be a little board here to undo. Alright, that is now out of the way, so I can start disconnecting all of these. There we go. So, monitor part is connected to that one and that one. And disk drive is connected black and red to the back one and blue and red to there. Good. That is actually that, so I don't have to unhook it from the board. All right, we're to this point here, and now let's unhook the disk drive cable. There we go, we have the disk drive out, and ooh, gooey wire. Well, all in all, I would say that this board looks pretty good. I don't think anything needs to be done to it immediately. But what I do need to do is remove the gunk on this disk drive, including the old wire, the old, there we go. This is what's left of the rubber belt that was on there. Now, unfortunately, I don't have any IPA here, so I am going to have to make a run into town to buy some. Then I can get cleaning this and add a new belt onto it. And hopefully that will work. Just for the sake of completeness, I am also removing the motherboard here, especially since I can't go into town until tomorrow to get the IPA I need. So I'm removing the motherboard so that I can see under it. One thing about it, there is a lot of shielding in this computer. So under the shielding looks fine, no rust, no anything, shielding all looks fine. And the back of the motherboard looks good, no staining, no nothing. It's a couple of days later and I'm finally ready to start cleaning the disk drive. I have here a little thing of IPA. Interestingly enough, I've discovered that there is not a store within 100 kilometers of my cabin that carries IPA, so I had to wander around to my neighbor's place and ask if I could borrow a cup of IPA. Finally found somebody that had some, so here we go. Let's get this thing clean. After taking a whole lot of black gunk off of here, I think I'm ready to put a belt on. I have a bunch of different sized belts here. I think I have found the one that should fit. So I need to loosen the eye off a bit. The timing light, or whatever you want to call it. Get that line back up. All right. Let's hope this is gonna work. All right, we have the computer partially back together. Now we're going to try to boot it from MS-DOS 3.3. Oh, the disk drive is spinning. It doesn't sound pretty, and we're getting an error. Okay. So, well, maybe that's just the disk. Let's try it with Deskmate disk. Okay, it's kind of reading things. See if I can boot a document. Okay, well, the disk drive is kind of working. I guess it could be my DOS disk that's not working. Anyways, it's not sounding great, so I'm going to take it apart and see if I can mess around with it a little more to make it sound a little better. And we've got the Tandy 1100FD more working, I guess, than it was. Now, the one thing I'm not 100% sure of, I know the disk drive doesn't sound great, but it does load some stuff up off of it. So is it a problem with the disk drive, or is it a problem with the disks? Unfortunately, I don't have any other disks or disk drives here to make some disks to try out. So that is something I'm going to have to do when I get home, which a good thing, I'm going home right away and I will have full access to all of my goodies there to do a little bit more work on this Tandy because I really want to get it working and I want to try out playing some games on it to see how they look. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, you know what you can do with the liking, the subscribing, and the commenting below, because anything and everything you do is always greatly appreciated. But until the next time I see you, have a great day.